Marketing is a numbers game. Are you playing it, tradie? Hi, tradies. John here. You know what it's like when you don't have work, don't you? Nobody wants to be there. Nobody wants to have people standing around twiddling their thumbs, cleaning the shed, or doing work at your house, or anything like that, right? That's not what you want. I know this. It's horribly common, though. Now, this is what happens often, right? You win a job, or you win some jobs, or you feel like there's a steady flow of work coming in. You take your eye off looking for work and marketing, and you go and focus on doing the work, right? It's quite natural, it's quite normal. And then towards the end of the project or at some point in things, the work dries up a bit and you look up and there's no work booked out into the future, and that's not a nice feeling. If you don't have a consistent stream of work, it can dry up totally, or it can dry up somewhat. None are good. It's almost always because, if you read between the lines here, it's almost always because you took your eye off the ball, you didn't do any marketing, because you were busy focusing on doing the jobs. You focused on other stuff and not marketing, not finding work, and the lack of that activity left you without enough work. You're not alone, everyone does this. Everyone's done it multiple times, I imagine. It's very common. Maybe more for trades than other business owners because of your kind of natural focus on doing the work and doing good work and the quality, right? I know that's important to you, and it is important. So as a business coach for tradies and builders, that's me. Part of my job is to help my clients guard against that, to build a marketing machine that keeps working all the time, so you've always got an inflow of leads for your sales machine to try and turn into jobs. Don't get caught up on the machine. I just want you to think of it in that it's going all the time. What your marketing machine should look like or should be made up of is the subject of some other videos. So don't worry about that. Right? My clients, of course, get a much more detailed version of this training and these trainings in my program, and they get pushed to build and continuously improve their machine and to turn that handle and make sure they're doing the numbers as well. So this video is about the fact that marketing is a numbers game. It's about how to play it. When you go quiet, there are two numbers that are important. Actually, no, whether you've gone quiet or not, there are two numbers that are important. There's your marketing activity, the marketing you're doing that finds opportunities, and there's your sales funnel or your sales pipeline or your forecast. All the opportunities you could win right now, the ones you can see right now that you could win if you don't find any more. Your activity is what finds more work that goes into your funnel, and your funnel is what you found and you could win. Let's talk about your funnel for a minute first. Like your forecast, what I often call your quote tracker. You tracked opportunities. You might track this in a spreadsheet. You might track it in a job management system, which is a bit old school. You might track it on a whiteboard. Right? Let's say there are 10 opportunities in it. The most you can win is 10, unless you put more in. Let's say there are 10 opportunities in it with a total quoted value of $1 million. The most you can win is 10, and the most money you can get is $1 million, and it's probably going to be less than that, isn't it? Well, we rarely win them all. Right? And the thing about winning sales is they're binary, aren't they? You win them or you don't win them. There's no halfway. You don't really win half a sale or 90%. So you could win all 10 and 10 million, or you could win 9 or 8 or 7 or none. That would be hateful if you won none, but it's possible. So even if your usual rate is 50%, you're not really guaranteed to win 5 mil or anything near that. There's no guarantee. It could still be zero. The more opportunities in your funnel, the less this kind of binary nature of it is a problem, and the more likely it is that you'll get enough. The more in your funnel, the more you're likely to win. No shit. So that's an important number, right? And your average win rate and the percentage of them that you win that I mentioned is also useful. So now to marketing. What activity is happening to find opportunities to quote on? What's going on? What are you doing? What's your business doing to fill that funnel up, to generate that inflow of inquiries? Touched on this in the previous video, didn't I? I talked about relationship marketing and counting the calls you make each day. And I talked about advertising and generating inquiries that way with Find Me Marketing or Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever. I also talked about noticing how many it is, how many of the calls you make, and how many meetings and sales you get as a result, because that flow through is very important. And we can apply a similar approach to all your marketing, right? Not just to calls to people who might give you repeat work, but your advertising and things as well. So people can only buy from your business if they're in contact with it and on the phone to you, or if they're emailing you, say, yes, we accept your quote, or if they're filling in a form on your website to make an inquiry. They can only buy if they're in touch. You can count these inquiries or these leads, and they should go into your funnel and be counted there as well, right? And it's up to you to generate them. It's up to you to influence people and say, hey, inquire here, however you do it. You can count the activity, can't you? You can count the activity, the calls, right? You can count the leads that come in. You can count the activity, the calls that you make to generate work. You can count ads. You can count how much you spend on ads, can't you? It's certainly possible to count dollars you spend in money. It's also possible to count how many impressions you get with, say, Facebook ads or Google ads. And it's possible to count how many times people click on your ad. And then it's possible to count how many inquiries come in when they've read your landing page and decided whether they want to inquire. So you can go through all that. How many people see your ads? That's impressions. How many people click? That's what you pay for. How many people then inquire? That's the lead, because not all of them do. So I'm thinking of Google AdWords here in this flow, but if you're paying for SEO, you could think in a similar way, you know. How much do you spend? How many clicks do you get? How many inquiries? You have signage. How many people see it? That's the thing, isn't it? You drop leaflets. How many? You can see where I'm going, right? Measure, measure, measure. What are your numbers? Do you even know? Worth knowing, I think. It's worth knowing, it's worth measuring, it's worth putting some effort into this. For each of your sources of leads, your lead generation activities, which could be calling, it could be advertising, they're probably your main two. You spend money or you spend time and you generate something, calls, impressions, leads. They generate something with a conversion rate, answered calls, conversions, clicks perhaps. And I'll restrict myself to these two, right? To the ads and to calls at the moment as your primary ones. Let's say you make 100 calls, you leave 85 voicemails and you get through to 15 people, 15 conversations. Say you arrange 8 meetings, you get 5 leads, and maybe you win 3 of them. Those are the kinds of numbers we might be talking about. I made them up, right? Measure your own. Spend $3,000 on Google Ads and get 200 clicks because they're $15 a click. Some of them inquire, let's say 50. You've got 50 people to take through your sales process and you win a percentage of them. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's 50%. You could win 25. I don't know what a good click-through rate is for your business and a good win rate because it depends what trade you are and how big the jobs are on that. So I did my statistics for January for Google Ads. Spent $3,600, 227,000 impressions, 600 clicks, 108 conversions. That's downloads of my free thing. 11 people booked a call. 5 of them showed up for the call. 4 of them booked a strategy session. That's the proper sales call from that. 2 of them showed up to that, and one of those guys bought, and that's worth 20K or so. So it was worth my spending the 3 to get a 20K deal. That's my funnel. I know my statistics. You should know yours. Yours won't be the same. But it will be analogous. You know, the numbers will shrink. That's why they call it a funnel. Right? You'll have spend, impressions, clicks, conversions. Right? They could be calls or web inquiries. You'll have conversations, quotes, and won jobs. Now, I might be sounding a bit complicated. I hope I haven't. But that information is easy for you to get. Right? You can get it from your AdWords agency or your SEO agency. Obviously, you've got to do it yourself for calls, unless you're paying someone else to make your calls. And then you can ask them to measure. You see how the numbers get smaller? That kind of funnel nature of it. If you start small, they're only getting smaller than that, aren't they? That's the important thing to take here. You need to be playing this numbers game. You need to be doing enough marketing to generate enough leads that when you don't win them all, you still win enough jobs for your business to be happy and successful. So go and measure yours. Measure them for a week or 2. And then ask yourself, are they enough? I bet they're not, because no one ever comes to me and says, oh, I'm just so busy. I think I might buy a Ferrari. No one says that. I bet they're not. Which means your risk of being quiet soon is higher than you might like. You might be fine, but you might not. You should do this. If you want to do this properly, you want to run your business properly, you should do this. You should measure your marketing activity and the whole set of statistics through your funnel. Decide whether you're doing enough, then decide what you're going to do to increase your numbers so you get more work into your funnel and more work coming out of your funnel. I've made a chart to help you, just a little simple table to record it in. So if you want that, put your hand up, say chart perhaps, and we'll get it sent to you. See you later.